Welcome back. So the City of Johannesburg's housing department say they will continue with their plans to refurbish the 5-decade-old Diepkloof hostel, despite the mystery surrounding the rightful owner of a portion of the land. The department says their plans were interdicted by a private company claiming they own part of the land housing the hostel. Now, for more on this story, we are joined by Johannesburg Housing MMC Mlungisi Mabaso. Mr. Mabaso, a good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I think before we even get to the plans of your department to deal with the refurbishing and then even the issues around private individuals, but just your response to some of the violence that we have seen where protests have taken place and we've seen people lose their lives.
Thank you very much, Sis Naledi. Greetings to yourself and greetings to the viewers at home. It was a very unfortunate situation, and we convey our condolences to the families, the leaders and the residents of the hostel. We know that the confusion was created when the people who alleging to be the owners of the hostel went on to convey the message to the residents, and the residents had to take it to the street. It was a very unfortunate event, and we hope that it's not going to happen in the future, where residents, when they take their frustrations to the street, and some of the residents then end up losing their lives. So it was a very unfortunate situation. But we are hoping that, God will be with us, God will guide us in all the work that we are doing. Because when the residents exercise their constitutional right, it does not mean that they need to lose their lives. And we send our condolences to the families and to the leaders and the residents of Diepkloof Hostel.
Yeah, perhaps you've gotten, as the Department of Human Settlements, a report from police as to the latest into that matter, where there were several that were injured and 2 people dying as a result of the truck allegedly driving through that protesting group.
Well, today, towards the afternoon, we did have a discussion with the leaders of the hostel, and they committed to provide us with the information tomorrow. So they will be in a position tomorrow to have all the information about the deceased, those that were deceased, and those that are in hospital. And we are trying to arrange to visit the families of the deceased so that we also pay our respect and also see if we can assist them with anything should they require any form of assistance. So we will be making those arrangements tomorrow with the leaders of the hostel.
Yeah. So let's get into really what led to this community then taking to the streets. A private entity comes forward and says, the land where you are living belongs to it. And I'm talking now as they speak to these hostel dwellers. And you can talk to me about, from the City of Johannesburg, your understanding of the ownership of that land. And then there were plans, of course, by the city to refurbish those hostels.
Yeah, what happened late last year when we commenced our demolition program, because part of the work that we are doing in the hostel, we had identified the units that are dilapidated, and we had then said we are going to demolish them. We are going to provide alternative accommodation for the tenants that are residing in those particular blocks. So in the process of demolition, then our officials and the contractor that is appointed were approached by certain individuals who came with certain documents claiming ownership of the land, indicating that they are now the owners, and they do not understand why government is demolishing the blocks there without having to engage with them. And we had to halt our operation so that we conduct our own investigation to determine whether what was being alleged is true or not. And upon that, we had to engage Johannesburg Property Company, the entity that is administering all the council-owned properties in the city of Johannesburg, and we could not, obtain sufficient information that could even assist us to engage with the residents of the hostel. So throughout the course of the months, we've been trying to obtain the information. Even in the meeting that we held yesterday, we could not get sufficient information that we can convey to the residents of Diepkloof and to the residents of the city of Johannesburg. But in the process of that, the people who are the owners or that are working for the company which owns that particular portion of the land, they went to engage with the leaders, and they also engage with certain residents in the hostel, and that's why residents then got agitated and they decided to protest because they wanted to know how it came about that the part of the hostel is now privately owned. And we had to go yesterday to explain that to the residents that we discovered that as the Department of Human Settlements were also not aware. The transaction or the transfer took effect on the 27th of June 2023. The report never served in council. So that's why the councillors of the City of Johannesburg are not aware of this transaction. And these people have been trying to put pressure on us to meet with them because they want to engage with us at the city level. And we are saying to them, no, but this is an illegal process and we cannot legitimize it by sitting informal meetings with them discussing how we can either compensate them or partner with them in terms of the development. So we had to explain that to the residents yesterday so that we are able to clarify the matter, because when these people went to Diepkloof hostel, they did not even indicate that they are owning a portion of the hostel. They were saying that they are owning the hostel, and we had to clarify to the residents that there are two owners of the hostel, and we were able to determine that through our own investigation in the department, because Johannesburg Property Company could not really assist us with the information. But over and above that, there is an interdict that is attached to their title deed, which prohibits us from conducting any developments for Diepkloof hostels, advertising for any tenders within the Diepkloof hostel. And that has been a challenge for us to work in Diepkloof hostel since last year when these people approached us as the department. But we then took a conscious decision to say, well, understanding the living condition of the residents in the hostel, we cannot really wait for the upliftment of this court interdict. They will rather maybe then arrest us as the city, but we need to work. And we then appointed Johannesburg Water. We told Johannesburg Water that you must go and proceed with the work of the sanitation and sewer on site so that we are able to provide the necessary basic services that the residents of Diepkloof hostel really deserve. So in our meeting of February with Johannesburg Water, they had indicated that the construction will commence during the month of July. Hence, in the meeting that we had with the residents of Diepkloof hostel, I indicated that I will be meeting with them towards the end of June, so that we are able to introduce the contractor that will commence the construction of the sewer and the sanitation within the hostel. So that work is going to proceed as planned. We will wait for them to take us to court for that, because the reality is that even if they are owning that particular portion of the land, we don't understand why they are interdicting us from providing services and developing the hostel, because they are not owning the whole section of the hostel. They are owning a certain portion of the hostel, and they shouldn't be stopping us from responding to the service delivery calls from the residents of Diepkloof hostel. And the mayor has made an undertaking, and he's going to make a further communication around the approach that we are going to take on how we are going to deal with these issues of illegal transfers, because to us, we will deem it illegal until we are proven otherwise, because it must be a council that authorizes any transfer of the properties, especially that is owned by the City of Johannesburg, because the landlord is council, and it's only the council that must give authorization to the officials to sign any documents that talks to the transfer of any property that is owned by. And this one was never said in council. Hence, we don't really want to legitimize this process by sitting and engaging with these people, because for us this process was illegal, and it will remain illegal until we are proven otherwise.
Yeah. We're going to leave it there, Mr. Mabaso, but keep us updated because a concerning issue that obviously has gotten, so emotive that we've seen an angry community take to the streets and that resulting in 2 lives lost. So for the sake of this community, that clarity needs to be there. But thank you so much for bringing us the latest to Mlungisi Mabaso, the MMC for Human Settlement. We take a short break. More news after this.